Don't. Oh, that's funny. I forgot to turn on my microphone on Twitch. I've been having all kinds of conversations about you guys. It reminds me of a conversation I had with MFA Designs last week. He was really happy about design and all the hype that was going on around it, and he released it, and there were zero sales. Turns out he forgot to actually list it for sale. He forgot to activate those products. So yeah. Okay. So going into the vacuum chamber. This will take a few minutes. So this is a good time to ask questions if you got them. Ooh, Kelly asking, what was the question? Can I make silicone molds? Yes, actually, I make all of my own molds. So as long as I've got a master to go from, I can make a mold of it. Heather asking, what kind of pigment do I use? All my pigments are body safe, mica-based pigments. I do have a few liquid pigments, but those are fairly uncommon as far as what I use. But everything I have is mica-based. So what about now? Twitch, YouTube, you got audio now? Okay. Now the next one I'm going to be making is, I'm just trying to get ahead of myself here. And I need some white. There we go. Okay. Just getting my colors together for the next one. Now I'm curious, I've been hearing that TikTok is becoming much more regional in the sense that, you know, whenever you do a live or whenever you post a video or anything, it tends to go to the people who are near you. And so I'm in Oklahoma, and I'm curious where everybody else is. Are you near Oklahoma? Are you in the Midwest? Are you on the East Coast, West Coast, or are you outside the United States? All right, we got Texas. New Zealand. See, I've been hearing this, and we got New Zealand in the house. All right. Okay, that makes me feel better. I was wondering. Oh, but you knew of me prior to TikTok. Okay. Oh, we got somebody over on YouTube, over on the East Coast. Hey, Jazzy, thanks for letting me know you can hear me. East Coast, Pasadena, Maryland. Okay, okay. Arizona. Oh, we got Ontario. Now, is that Ontario, California, or Ontario, Canada? North Dakota, Arizona. Okay. Awesome. All right, so we're almost done with the vacuum chamber here. We'll get this poured up. Here's our mold. And I just got one more color that's kind of got a few more bubbles in it. Okay. I'm going to swing this around to see if how much is that block on Twitch? That blocks everything on Twitch. Okay. So I'm going to have to do this way. Okay. Now, does everybody know why we use a vacuum chamber? And I'm just going to add this black right on top of the purple. I'm going to be fairly gentle with it. I don't want to mix it. Now, see, there really isn't much left in that cup, because I pretty much scraped it out. Set that off to the side. And now the teal goes right on top of that black. Okay. And now basically what we've created here is a bullseye. And so we got purple on the bottom, then there is black, and then there's teal. Now the teal is right in the middle. It's not all the way to the edge, but what we're going to see is the teal comes out first, and then the black, and then the purple will follow at the very end. All right, I hope that everybody can see this because I got to get this poured. There we go. And I can tell I'm getting right to the end of my pot life here. So did a lot of talking. Well, it took a while to vacuum out also. That was not sure why it took so long to vacuum, but let's get this let's get our artwork signed real quick. Yes, you are absolutely correct. We want to pull all the air out of it. We want to remove any bubbles that might be in the silicone. All right, I got a little bit extra here, so I'm going to throw it off into a squishy. And so whenever anybody places a custom order and we have to pour it for them, if there's any excess, we'll pour it off and make a squishy with whatever we can. And that'll go in with the order. So they get a little fidget toy that is made from the same material as their sculpture. Okay. All right. Now, pro tip, always keep your cups with your mold so that if you need to do any troubleshooting later, you can. This way, one, I don't have to touch the sculpture itself to see if it's fully cured, because I can just pull from the cups if I want to test it. The other is, if it cures in the cups but it doesn't cure in the mold, then I know that there was something wrong in the mold. Maybe it was I used the wrong mold release or something like that. But if it doesn't cure in the cups or the mold, then I know that my mix was off. And so it's just a way for me to troubleshoot. Drunk as saying they love the fact that I sign it. Yeah, actually, if you've, uh, well, you guys don't see it, but I do have a couple of other employees who do pours for us, and they actually have their own way of signing the base. And that way, number one, it kind of personalizes it. Number two, we can go back and we can tell who made what afterward. And to a certain extent, we can even tell when it was made based off of, what the pattern is, because nobody's signature stays the same over time. All right, so we got one more to make here. I'll get my cups cleaned out, get them ready. All right, so this is going to be a Versuston Bumper Cars A10. Okay. Now, do you know what I mean when I say A10? Does that mean anything to anybody? Or would you like me to explain it? Because I don't want to dive into something that people don't care about, but I also want to make sure that everybody kind of understands what we're talking about here. Come on. All right, sorry about that. I was getting my silicone together. All right, we got part A and part B. Yeah, Drunk and Luna. You are correct. We are talking about the firmness. All right. Okay, now then. So, I have to check my notes here because this pour is a little bit different than the rest of them. This is a stripes pour. So we're actually going to have 3 colors, but they're going to be side by side. Get some purple in there. There's that purple. Okay. And now, this is my blue. Well, it's one of my blues. This particular blue has a tendency to be a little bit chunky, and so I have to treat it a little bit differently. Oops, now I got pigment all over myself here. So like I said, it tends to be a little bit chunky, and so what I actually end up doing is blending that pigment with this stick has got silicone all over it. I end up blending that blue with some silicone thinner, and then I can use actually a hand mixer and blend it, make sure that all those chunks get incorporated into the silicone thinner. And then I don't have to worry about chunks. Now this one, we need to desaturate that blue just slightly. So we're going to take just a tiny little bit of white and mix that in. And it gives that white just a little, I'm sorry, that blue just a little bit more opacity, and it gives it just a little bit of shimmer. You still got a little bit of translucency to it. And then the pink. This pink is so intense. I'll show you something fun about this pink here in just a second. Also, because it's liquid, it blends in with that silicone so well. But I have my black light here. I don't know if you can see that. It's black light reactive. Woo! Okay. And again, we're going just a little bit of white to give it just a little bit of opacity. We want to desaturate that pink just a bit. That's a nice pink right there. All right, I'm going to drop these in. I'm getting ready to drop these into the vacuum chamber. So this would be a good time to ask questions if you got them. Haunted Heart. What'd you say? What coloration products do I use? The pigments that I use are mica-based, so they are completely body safe. Now, some of these, like I said, like this blue comes in and it gets kind of chunky, and so I blend it with some silicone thinner. The pink, on the other hand, it's just the dry pigment of this is so strong that I have to water it down. And so this one, I throw it in some silicone thinner just to bring the intensity of the color down a little bit. Luna says, it looks like the Buy Pride flag. You are absolutely correct. That was actually the inspiration for this colorway. Also, if I didn't add pigment, what color would it be? It does not change color in the curing process. It might become just a little bit more opaque, but it'll be a milky, translucent color. It is not transparent. I'll put it that way. But it's kind of a milky, translucent white. So let's talk about firmness real quick. And I hope that everybody's going to be able to read this. So I'm just going to draw it on here. Basically, we have two scales. And there's a little bit of, there's a little bit of overlap in those scales. So I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. This is the 00 scale, and this is the A scale. So generally speaking, the 00 is going to be softer than an A, but there is this overlap area. And the numbers start at 0 and go up to some number up here. The highest I've seen is like 70 or 80, so we'll just call it 80. And so you have this overlap area, but within each of these sections, the A series, a 0 is always going to be softer than an 80. A A10 is always going to be softer than an A25. And over here, a 0020 is going to be softer than a 0050. Now, somewhere around here, I think it's about 60-ish, there's a transition point where an A0 is the same firmness as a 0060 or something like that. As far as the firmnesses that I use, we use 0030, 0050, A10, A25, and I even have an A40, hardly ever use it, and I have a 0020. Again, I hardly ever use these. Drunk says that's a good explanation. All right, good. Clean up my mess here. So one of the things I like about having a sheet of acrylic as my workspace, I can draw on it, make notes, etc. Okay, there was a question on question about what type or brand, is that the question? Yeah, what type or brand of pigments and what modifications do I make to them? Generally speaking, if you want to get started, TKB is a great pigment maker, and they do a really good job of identifying pigments that our bodies save. And they'll have notes on them to say whether they've been FDA approved for lips, skin, eyes, etc. As far as modifications that I make to the pigments, there are some that I will blend into silicone thinner, but that is really about the only modification that I make. Now you'll see here in just a moment, we are going to make a pride flag. Oh, and somebody's asking, how do I, where do I get my molds from? I make them. I make my own molds. I actually have a video on YouTube showing exactly how I make my molds. Okay. Now I took that pink and I poured it right on the side, and we're going to do the same thing with this blue. And it's going to push that pink right back. No, Jacqueline, I was answering your question right there about where do I get the molds? I make them myself. All right, so let's get this poured real quick. And now I'm going to pour this straight down the middle so that hopefully looks like the blue's going to race to the front a little bit. But we've got good separation between the pink and the blue. We've got that thin line of purple right down the middle. Not used to pouring with my left hand. And like I said, I got a little extra here, so I'm gonna make a squishy. There we go. Luna, that works better than you expected? Oh my God, have some faith in me. I have an idea of what I'm doing. All right. We'll sign our artwork here. There you go. And so in this case, they ordered a Versustin and they chose the specific, the colorway, which in this case was called Bumper Cars, but it's based off of the Buy Pride flag. And then they chose a specific firmness. And so we customize as much as we possibly can. We'll scoot this off the way. Kitty Cat asking, do I throw away my containers? No, all my containers get reused. At the very beginning, I did some peels, but what happens is the silicone will cure in the molds and as well as in the cups. And then I just peel the the extra silicone off the bottom and makes it so much easier to clean. Because cleaning liquid silicone is not fun. About the only thing I found that works is 99% alcohol. Yes, drunk, I've done it a time or two. Kitty Cat, yes, I do have some peels in my TikTok videos. Luna, you've just started learning. Are you wanting to learn how to pour silicone, or are you just starting to get into the pouring process in general, like resins and things like that? Whew. All right. So I want to move this off to the side here. There we go. And once again, keep your cups with your mold so you can do testing later. All right. Questions, comments, feedback. What you got for me? Oops. Oh, I forgot to announce the order number on that one. That was for order number 337. Oh, I'm an idiot. That was order number 337. So if you have an order in and the last three digits are 337, then that one that we just did is for you. Haunted Heart, you appreciate the way that I censor it. Well, yeah, I've had a few videos taken down from TikTok, and actually, I think it's one of the first dozen or so videos I did. If you go back through, there are a couple of demolds in there, so you can actually see the finished product. But there are a few that have managed to slip through the cracks. But I've had videos taken down by TikTok for being too spicy. I've even had my lives shut down because I'm too spicy. I'm pouring silicone into a mold. Whatevs. Yeah, drunk. It's a lot of fun. We get to play around, and it's as much science as it is art, because we're talking about shapes and volumes, but also we're talking about color theory. We have some really interesting conversations about products, and well, when you're in this line of business, there are certain topics that you're going to talk about, which you normally wouldn't talk about in other places. Um, so I'm kind of dancing around the subject here, but we actually do have a company safe word, so that if a conversation ever gets to the point where somebody feels uncomfortable, they can use the safe word, and immediately the conversation changes to a different topic and we move on. And then later on, if we need to, we can come back around to that topic in a different way. But how do you have a business like this and avoid any kind of harassment issues? And so that was the way I came up with is, when somebody comes in, they have to know what we make, what we do. I give them the safe word, and if at any point in the conversation anything gets uncomfortable, use the safe word, conversation changes. Yes, Haunted Heart. Rainbow colored silicone is spicy. All right, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Unless you have any other questions, I'll hang out for a minute get them in the chat, but I'm going to wrap it up here in just a few minutes. And by the way, if you do want to see any of the final products, there is a link in my bio, and from there you can get to Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, as well as the web store, Etsy store, all the different things. And so from there you can take a look at any of the different models that we've got, different colorways. We actually do a lot of customization as well. So in terms of colors, we have a way that you can order a particular model and a particular firmness, and then you can choose up to 3 colors, or you can go with one of our standard colorways. Yes, Luna, it is Amavidi on YouTube. Actually, you mentioned YouTube. I've changed the way that I've been doing my videos on YouTube, and I've been doing much more topical, specific videos where I've taken a topic that we've talked about during the AMAs that ask me anything that I do on Sunday nights. I've taken those and edited them down to, you know, a specific topic. Like I did one on blending silicones. I did one on how to make glove molds. I did one on Etsy. What was the other one I did? Oh, there's an ISO standard, ISO 3533. And I did a video on the ISO standard. So there are videos out there on my YouTube channel that you can check out, and then I don't know, maybe you learn something. Hey, thanks, Mike. Kitty Cat asking, how did I get into making spicy toys? Well, wow. I would have to go back at least 20 years. Back when I was, okay, so 20 years ago, I was making fine jewelry with a custom jeweler. And we made silicone molds that we could then cast wax into and then cast metals and things like that. Anyway, my first experience with silicone molds was back 20 years ago at least. And then I got out of that business for a while, did a bunch of other things, came back. Well, I'm not going to say I came back. About 10 years ago, I got started in a little bit, well, I went self-employed about 10 years ago. And we were doing a lot of resin casting. And so in resin casting, we were also making our own molds. And so once again, working with silicone, but just making block molds for resin. Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, well, what else can I do with this silicone? Because I have a lot of silicone sitting around. What can I do with it? And in my research, I started figuring out, oh, I can make spicy sculptures. And so started doing that. And it started off just as a hobby, kind of having fun with it, and, you know, making some different ideas and models and showing them off and laughing at them with my friends. And then people started wanting to buy them. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we can do that. And so it turned into a business. All right, everybody, hydrate. Drink your water. Stay hydrated. Enjoy your weekend. Well, I say it's weekend. I know it's only Wednesday, but we got a snowstorm coming in this afternoon, and I will probably be stuck at home for the next 3 or 4 days. So I've got like a long weekend coming up on myself. All right. If you like what we do, give me a follow. I mean, I say that. It's not, this is more for you. I do this because I enjoy it. I have fun. I like teaching people. I like sharing what I do. And so if you're on TikTok, give me a follow. If you're on Twitch or YouTube, subscribe. I don't do any hard sales, so it's whatever. Anyway, just do what you want to do. And with that, I am done. Bye. How do I turn this off? Is this it? Where's my button? Trying to turn it off. Okay. Twitch, YouTube, we are all alone now. All right. Twitch, YouTube, do you have any questions? We can be a little bit more frank about things because Twitch and YouTube really don't care what we talk about. And I apologize. I forgot to announce the second order before I started. I feel bad about that. All right. Well then, I am out of here. Goodbye.